What's up everyone, hello YouTube, and welcome to Singapore. Right now I'm on the eastern side of Singapore called Pasir Ris. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. This area is just all residential, nothing but apartment buildings. Most of them are designed exactly the same. So I don't normally make videos unless I can put a story behind it. I think just putting clips of time lapses and drone footage isn't really entertaining in the end. So I actually wasn't going to make a video about Singapore because I came here with a different purpose, and that was to decide if living in Singapore would be good or not. I want to be able to compare it to where I live in Taipei now and just see what it's like. But I do have a lot of friends and family asking me for video clips, so I'll put together this little montage right now. Of course, there's lots of pros to living in Singapore compared to the rest of Asia, especially the air is, perfect compared to anywhere else. It's very breathable. I don't feel like I'm gonna die every time I walk outside. The weather, of course, is awesome. Year-round, it's always warm. The summer might get a little too hot. I'm not quite sure on that yet because Taipei also gets very hot. Convenience, well, it's not exactly inconvenient, but I'll get into that in a second. But really, there is a lot of entertainment here. Tons of food, oh my god. You can't go wrong eating anywhere. The food is just awesome everywhere. Lots of diversity with the food choices, and I was quite surprised. The food here is just great all around. So after you read about how everyone loves Singapore and how great it is, there are some things that I didn't know about until I got here. First one is the housing. I just mentioned before, look, all the apartments are the same. They all look the same. And the reason behind that is because a lot of these places are built by the government. So like the building I'm living in now, or the building my friends live in down the street, you have to apply to live there. And right now, the average is about 4 to 5 people applying per apartment. So you have to win essentially a lottery to be able to live there, and then you don't get to pick where you want to live. So the housing market here is very controlled by the government, heavy regulations. Speaking of regulations, cars are something very heavily regulated. There is a limit on the number of cars that are allowed in Singapore. You have to apply to drive a car here, and if you win, you earn the right to drive for 10 years. But that's not the only problem. There are some blogs I've been reading that mention how a $37,000 US Mazda will end up costing you $100,000 US here because there are these additional taxes and fees that go on top of it, and it makes it almost impossible to have a car. And this is a problem because if you look outside, there are no stores. Look below all of these buildings, there's no storefronts. There's nowhere to get a couple groceries. There's no coffee shops. Like, why aren't there coffee shops down there? There's literally nothing. So some people have to travel quite great distances to actually get to anything. If you look down at the streets, it's kind of strange. The traffic isn't that bad. Downtown, the traffic isn't that bad either, so I feel like they could allow a few more cars, but they're really trying to keep as many off the roads as possible. So since there aren't any storefronts on any of these blocks, the only places to buy things or eat things or get your groceries are at malls. And most of these are located at MRT stations or near the MRT stations. So these are the big hubs across all of Singapore. This country basically consists of apartment buildings, skyscrapers, and malls. That is what makes up Singapore. Then there's of course the entertainment and the tourism that goes around downtown and south of there near Sentosa Island, which is unbelievable and beautiful places to see and go, and great fun things. Like if you want to spend a vacation here, there's tons of fun things you can do. Going back to regulations, There are a number of food and drink items. One item is gum. Not only can you not chew it outside, you'll get a fine, but you can't buy it because my friend just told me that it's illegal to import it into Singapore, so you can't chew gum here. The other item that stood out was alcohol. After 10:30 p.m. you cannot buy alcohol at the store. It feels like socialism around here, and this is the first time I've been to a country where socialism is so apparent and you can see it everywhere.
Damn.
Now, in terms of buying things here in Singapore, there are a lot of imports that are not offered in Taiwan, and that's a big plus here because there's a lot more diversity in your choices, and the prices can often be lower, like protein products cost a lot less here. In Thailand, whey protein costs so much, very heavily taxed. Taiwan, it's also taxed pretty high. The stores really do have everything you might need and more. On top of that, there are some great delivery services. There's one called, I believe, Red Mart. I might be saying that wrong. But they deliver your groceries to you and other necessities. At the end of the day, Singapore is definitely a great place to live. I mean, look at these shots. The downtown is beautiful. There are beaches. There are some outdoor wildlife things. A lot of the locals say there aren't, but there are. So if you're thinking about moving to Asia or looking for a new place, hope this video helps you. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time back in Taipei.